What's going on? Got my 2010 Toyota Tundra 5.7 in here, and the water pumps went out on it. So we're going to tear into this thing. And guys, all the parts, water pump, thermostat, whatever you need to do this job, I'll leave links in the description, so that way you can just go to this description and get the parts you need. I'm going to use the OEM quality parts on it, so it'll be just like factory parts. So let's get started on this thing. First thing we're going to do is drain the radiator. On the driver's side of the radiator, you've got this drain, and the water will drain out right here. You just loosen it. Take the radiator cap off, it'll help it drain. Let air in there to help it drain out. Next, go ahead and take this cover off. It just pries up, comes right off. Next, you want to remove the radiator hose. Channel locks and put around the hose and break them loose like that. And then you can pull it off. Now the next thing most people do is take this serpentine belt off. Don't take it off yet. It will assist you if you leave it on there. Your clutch fan bolt's loose, and your water pump bolt's loose that you can't see that are on over here, that I'll show you once I get this fan loose and the radiator shroud off. Alright, so what I did to get these 4 bolts out, or nuts off rather, if you look on the side of your clutch pulley or your clutch mount, there's notches right there. There's one on all 4 corners, and all I did was take my channel locks and go around that right there and hold that just like that. And I took my 12mm wrench, put it on that bolt, held up on my channel locks, and then loosen that bolt. And then you'll have to spin it. Take these off. Once you get one broke loose, take these off and grab another one and spin it to where you can get to the next one, and then break it loose, and do all 4 of them just like that. You may have to lock 2 wrenches together just like that to give yourself more leverage on your nut. Next, you need to take these 2 fan shroud bolts loose. You got one right here, they're 10mm, and then one right here. disconnect this radiator hose, reservoir overflow hose. Lift the fan shroud and the fan out together. Just lift it out. Let's get a little shot of that water pump. I'm going to take these 4 bolts loose, at least break them free while I've still got my serpentine belt on. While you're in here, after you get your belt off, go ahead and check your pulleys, make sure they're good. Go ahead and check your clutch fan bearing bracket, make sure it's good. And then you have another idler right here, check it and make sure it's good. But if they've got play in them, you want to go ahead and replace those while you're in here. Go ahead and take this pulley off. This is your water pump pulley. I'd say that water pump is shot. Go ahead and disconnect our throttle position sensor. Go ahead and disconnect this connector here. This hose right here loose. Go ahead and take this other connector right here loose. Go ahead and take these 2 small pump hoses loose. I don't know if you can see that. Right up under this wire right here, there's a 10mm bolt that holds this bracket right here. Take this clip right here loose. It holds these 2 wires right here. Take that clip loose too. Just like that. Just pop that up there out of your way. Should be able to wiggle this. Don't pull on that too hard, that's plastic, you break it. That's just going to allow you to get to these bolts that's back here to your water pump. You can move this wherever you want it for the most part. We'll go ahead and take this tensioner off. You'll need a 6mm Allen socket, and then you'll take out the bolt right below it. Right there. Guys, it's hard for me to see, but right here is your other bolt, and then there's one right behind this hose right here. Right there, you can see it from the bottom. Right there. Probably have to take this hose loose. Probably get to that with a wrench, maybe. We'll see. Go ahead and take this lower radiator hose off. And let's get them bolts out. Looks like a 12 millimeter. Loose. As when y'all do this, you cannot see right here. Taking my finger and below the hose and one above the hose to get it free. Go ahead and break that hose loose. As I know y'all can't see that, but neither can I. So you got one more hose right here too.
That's what it was, the clamp. Hold it.
Alright, now we're ready to unbolt the water pump. The best I can see is we got that bolt, that bolt, that bolt, that bolt, that bolt, that bolt, that bolt. You got that one behind that hose right there. Some of them look like 12. That one behind that hose looks like it's a 14. I'm gonna get those out. So all those water pump bolts are the same except for that one on the right, and then the one on the top, which is a 14 millimeter. Oops. You can see what that says. And that's the exact pump I'm putting back on it. Just take your rag and wipe all that off the water pump mounts. I want you to know, guys, this is actually what mechanics go through. They try to make it sound like that they just go in here and it's a piece of cake, and no, it's not always a piece of cake. To be honest, this is the first 5.7 I've put a water pump on, so it was kind of a learning experience for me on this truck. Now I've put millions of water pumps on, just not on this vehicle. I've had this truck for about 4 years, and this is the first time it's been broke down. And I didn't buy it new. I bought it with like 168,000 miles on it, and it has 232,000. Now my wife has a Toyota Sequoia that's got the 4.7 in it. She's got 382 or 383,000 miles on hers. Alright, I got my gasket on here. And what I did is I picked the two easiest bolts to put the gasket on with. This one on the bottom and this one on this side. Seems to be the easiest. We're about to find out. Get your gasket on there. Cannot see what you're doing. Get them bolts started into them bolt holes that you can't see. Go ahead and run them two up finger tight. Go ahead and put all the small bolts in first. Cannot see what you're doing. I hope y'all can see what I'm doing. Don't forget that the one that's It's an 8mm bolt, but the head on it is a 12mm socket. The long one goes right here, closest to your fan bracket. But we got to put some Permatex RTV sealant on the end of that bolt. You can see where it was before. Just a little bit on the threads, just like that, and then just kind of smear it into the threads with your finger. And then put that bolt in. Same thing with these two. The threads are 10mm, but the socket is 14. The two bolts that you use the 14mm socket for, they go on the top in the two bigger holes up here. One's up there, and I think the other one's right here. And they're the same, so it doesn't matter where you put it. Just like that. I think I'm going to hit this one right here. Get the other one. Okay, after you let the Permatex set for about an hour with the bolts on your tight, and you want to torque these bolts to 14-inch pounds. Crisscross them. Make sure that gasket stays put. If it falls out, you won't see it. Guys, I hope you can see what I'm doing, because I can't see. Tensioner back on. Replace the bearing in the tensioner idler pulley. This bolt is a left-handed thread, so clockwise to loosen, counterclockwise to tighten. Much better. I'm sorry about this video footage. It is difficult to get any camera down in here. There's nothing to attach it to. But get all of our hose clamps back where they go. Engineers, watch this video. They engineered this stuff. Show how difficult they made it to get to things anymore. It's almost like they built it and then was like, whoops, that won't reach. Let me, we'll just put a hose right here in front of that boat. But we are making progress. Go ahead and connect these small pump hoses back up. Go ahead and put this bolt in to hold your small bracket hose in place. 10mm socket. Go ahead and hook this little hose up. Let's put the water pump pulley on, and then we'll put our other pulley on, our fan bracket pulley. Go ahead and get the belt on it while it's wide open like this, instead of getting hoses in the way and this and that and the other. Water pump pulley. I'll clean that up a little bit, it's a little dirty. Those won't tighten all the way against the pulley. I'll just putting it on here until I get the belt on. I think we're ready to put the belt on it, if we can remember how the belt goes. I do know it goes around this crank pulley first. The back side's going to go around fan bearing bracket, and then all the way back down to your air conditioner, up to your idler, and came up to here, and back down to the alternator. Which I'm going to take it back off the tensioner and all the way across the top onto your water pump, so like that. We'll ease it off this tensioner so we can pull the slack around this other pulley, and then that's it right there. Get our tensioner socket, 14mm counterclockwise. Pull it tight and run your ratchet through the belt, just like that. And pull it. Put it on the tensioner. Make sure it stays on the alternator. Make sure it's around all your pulleys correctly before you let go. You want to go ahead and check it. Make sure that you're in all your grooves on your pulleys. Let me tighten these water pump pulley bolts back up. Make sure they're good and tight. Put our lower radiator hose on. Go ahead and put this little bypass hose on right here that we took off. These small pump hose clamps back on. little clips back in you there, and then one here. Same thing with this one. It goes right here behind this connector. Pop it in. Go ahead and plug our throttle position sensor back up. Plug this back up. Forget to put your bypass hose, the metal tubes that come over this way, these bolts back in. One went right there. I don't know if you can see the other one from the camera, but it's right to the right of your idler pulley. 10mm socket. Well guys, we're about finished. Put this clamp on the lower radiator hose. Guys, make sure you check your work. Check the bolts. Make sure you've got everything tight and secure. Everything looks great. Lift your shroud up and hold your fan in there as you set it down in there. Make sure you get the bottom in the little notches that it goes in. You'll know because it won't be lined up with your holes. Into nuts that we put on to hold that pulley on. Lift your fan up, line your bolt holes up. Get you a nut started. Hook this hose back up and we're ready for the upper radiator hose. One more thing left to do. Close the drain. Pitcock on the radiator. My engine needs a bath. Can't even see the water pump down in there. You almost can. Right there behind the fan blade. There you go, guys. It's all done.